William Byrd. Born in Lincolnshire, England, 1543, died in Stondon, England, 1623. As is expected from an English composer, William came from a long line of singing birds. It is not certain who Byrd's father was. His mother's sexual behavior is not being held in question here. It's just that little William's birth records have been lost. Registers show that the choir of St. Paul's in 1554 had two treble birds, but they were named John and Simon. There was also a Justin tune, but he was chucked out of the choir for singing flat. Byrd's father was probably Thomas Byrd, a member of the Chapel Royal, since little Willie would become a choir boy there. The Crown of England granted a license giving Byrd exclusive printing rights to a great deal of music, a great deal in itself, since it meant other composers weren't allowed to photocopy this stuff. The manuscripts actually had printed on the bottom, to serve for pricking any song. This is something I wouldn't want printed on my bottom. My Lady Novelle book, containing 42 examples of Byrd's representative keyboard works, was presented to Queen Elizabeth by Lord Edward Abergavenny the Deaf. The Queen wanted to let Lord Edward keep it himself, but realized he wouldn't hear of it. In a Reformed Protestant England, Byrd remained Catholic, which occasionally could lead to imprisonment. Latin works could not be performed in public but only in homes or secret Catholic services. It's hard to believe that what Byrd placed between bars could place Byrd behind bars. Byrd could have written much more, but he was preoccupied with many lawsuits, mostly over leasing of land. He had nothing published between 1591 and 1605 because he was in court all the time. Here is a listing of his cases. Byrd versus Luther. Surely Byrd wasn't slapping an injunction on the Reformation. Byrd versus Fetty Place and Box, Byrd versus Lally, Shelley versus Byrd, Nobbs versus Byrd, Byrd versus Jackson and others. Byrd was 80 when he died, having outlived all his adversaries and their lawyers.